Hello, Master Manifester. Today we're talking about suffering in the system in regards to manifestation and why pain and suffering and trauma sometimes manifest in the matrix construct in our reality. So, cognitive bias helps us notice what's going on in the world. It comes from our identity having limitations, and our identities are the predictive processing programs that tell us what to do, what to think, what to feel, how to interpret things. And we're also largely guided by our nervous system. And our entire system is highly automated. So if our nervous system gets triggered, there are if then protocols, associations in our mind, mental presets about what to do and about how things will likely be. And discomfort, pain, discomfort, all of that comes when we get a mismatch between what our brain expects, what our system expects, and what we actually get in reality. Like we're expecting something to go one way and then it completely does something different. This causes dissonance. It causes that feeling of, no, this isn't right. So when we encounter other systems who are running different programs than us. They have different values, different priorities. Their dopamine system, which we are largely controlled by, is different. Everybody's dopamine system is a little bit different. Everybody's got a different baseline, and these lines can change over time, and they do all the time. And you can build up your baseline. You can, reduce that pain body. The discomfort is the catalyst for changing the program. It says that something in the program isn't growing or thriving or it's not cohesive. And the level of suffering is basically the interpretation of the event and the physical feeling of discomfort. And then we can get infinite error loops because the emotional sensation in the body triggers the mind into making these interpretations about it. It means I'm bad, it means I'm terrible. And then we end up in psychological suffering, right? From the emotional sensation of something happening. And then if you have physical pain on top of that, then it increases, that terrible sensation, those infinite loops, right? And it can even increase physical pain. It can increase the perception of physical pain. Now, on the emotional pain end, if you can do a force stop, force quit, basically, you pause the program. You're like, okay, this is the sensation I'm feeling, interrupts that cycle and those error loops, right? It's like, oh, we need to feel, we need to come back. No, we need to feel. But if you reach the end of a program and you don't have a new program to update it, but you also can't run the old program because there are conflicts in what you have evidence now of your reality, basically your system can crash. And it's just like blue screen of death, identity collapse. And this is where a lot of people get depressed. And they run into this major system conflict with their identity program. And this feels like survival to your system. And in a sense it is, but it's also not life or death. But of course our brains don't know that now because we haven't been out of out of hunter gatherer phases really all that long. We haven't been these identity structures for all that long. So it's still evolving. It's still an evolving situation. But reducing pain is really about reducing the difference between expectation and reality when it comes to emotional pain. I expect to have a big house, but I don't have a big house. This creates dissonance and discomfort. This is a difference between what the program says should be and what actually is, right? So I can't move forward, or I feel like I can't move forward within this program without that thing, or person, or place, or situation, or something about yourself, all of these things, right? So when you run into something that causes something traumatic, it frequently causes these infinite error loops because it gets stuck in the body if you don't fully feel and acknowledge it. These chemical experiences, these chemical traces, these hormones just keep cycling, thinking something is still happening in some, unconscious part of your mind, just waiting to be acknowledged. But if something is so terrible that your mind doesn't want to work on the interpretation, then it just gets stuffed down into the body. And this causes all sorts of things. It causes stress, it causes disease, it causes addictions, all sorts of things. So it's really important to be feeling into the pain body instead of resisting it, right? Feel and acknowledge the discomfort. Don't interpret, just feel into it. And then once it is cleared, then you can start gathering evidence to decide what to do next in your story to move towards the manifestation life that you want, right? The manifested life that you want to feel, that you want to experience. But you will never not experience discomfort. You will never not experience pain. It is the contrast that creates context in the story. Life wouldn't even make sense without it. Doesn't have to be extreme. There always has to be some small level of discomfort at some point. Nothing is ever 100% perfect. And even if it was, you would start to get really seriously bored and upset and start self-sabotaging because you don't want that much perfection. Your mind needs a problem to solve, a situation to complain about, you know? It is a survival system. We are survival systems. So I hope this to helped you to understand a little bit more about, the mechanics of what is happening inside of us when we feel emotional discomfort or, when we feel like we're suffering, right? And how to lean into that. It is really hard. It is really uncomfortable. And some things are so, so terrible, I know. But this is the solution to lean into the pain. And once the pain clears from the body, then the brain can think better. The blood can go back to the prefrontal cortex where all the good decisions get made, all the rational thinking, and not in the survival systems. And once you clear that, then you can start dealing with whatever it is that you have to deal with, whether it is grieving a situation, story that has passed that is you really cared about. It was deeply high priority or whatever it is that you need to do to move through to the next part of your story. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method News newsletter in the description below.